Welcome back, everybody, to the Cleveland Guardians franchise here on MLB The Show 22. Today we kick off the ALCS with games 1 and 2 here in Cleveland against the Toronto Blue Jays for a spot in the World Series on the line. Cleveland won the World Series last year after only winning 88 games in the regular season. This year the Guardians have won 111, but they were much closer to getting eliminated in the previous round this season than they were at all last year. In the ALDS, it ended up going to 5 games against the Detroit Tigers. The 5th game ended up being unbelievably ridiculous. We ended up winning 14-13. In case you need a quick little recap, here you go. They'll face off against Dansby Swanson, who checked into the game earlier as a defensive substitution. Swanson hits this one high and deep into center field. Green chases after it at the track, at the wall. Go, ball, go! It is gone! And now the count is full. Pitch on its way from Wells. And Marte ties it up! A homer into left field and a bat flip! And now Jose Ramirez, the MVP, has a chance to end the game. Good night, everybody! Jose Ramirez is gonna walk it off, and the Guardians are moving on! So yeah, that was crazy. We were down by 4 with our last out, and we scored 5 with back-to-back-to-back home runs by Swanson, Marte, and Ramirez. The offense for us was great the entire game, not just that final stretch in the 9th inning. But on the flip side, the pitching was horrible. Shane Bieber did not pitch like an ace. The bullpen, for the most part, was pretty bad. I mean, we allowed 13 runs. You cannot allow 13 runs and expect to win. Our pitching just happened to get lucky that the offense struck fire at the end of the game. That's what this team has been about this year. Our offense has been really good the entire year, and when they needed to step up, obviously they stepped up. The pitching has been a little bit more inconsistent throughout the year, and that nearly bit us in the butt if our offense did not make the most incredible 9th inning rally I've ever seen in my entire life. So hopefully the pitching can be a little bit more consistent. I think we have a team ERA at about 6 through the first 5 playoff games. I get it's a kind of small sample size, but that's still not good. The Tigers' offense was fantastic for the most part through the ALDS, and Toronto's offense is definitely better on paper. So we've got to be even sharper in terms of pitching. Their rotation is also even better than Detroit, so I think we're certainly in for a tough battle. They beat the Astros in 5 games with a very ridiculous Game 5 of their own, and ended up going into extra innings, tied at 4. They scored 5 in the 10th. Houston added 3 of their own, but Toronto was able to hold on to the victory. So both us and Toronto are coming off of long series with emotional, thrilling Game 5 victories. So I feel like both teams mentally are kind of in the same spot, where they're coming off the shock of a long, big series win. But now they've got to recharge here for an opportunity to make the World Series. In this franchise series, the only team who we have lost to in the playoffs, or at least the only playoff series that we lost, was to Toronto in Season 2 of the ALDS. We ended up losing in 5 games. We were able to get our revenge last year by beating them in the wild card game, and obviously that, propelled us to winning the World Series. But the Blue Jays have made some nice additions. They signed Manuel Margot, who was on our World Series team last year. They added some arms in the rotation with Tyler Mahle and Walter McGee. This guy looks like a Walter McGee, I can't lie, with the handlebar stash. I don't know about you, but he looks like his name will be Walter McGee. So Toronto has improved since we've last seen them, so I think this is certainly going to be a challenge for us. But we have been the best team in baseball this year. We won 111 games. I know we're certainly capable of it. It's just a matter of staying more consistent than we did in the ALDS against the Tigers. If we play like we did in the ALCS, I don't think we can beat Toronto because they are quite a bit better than Detroit. So here we go. We'll be kicking off the ALCS between the Cleveland Guardians and the Toronto Blue Jays. Best of 7. Winner moves on to the World Series. Cleveland looking to take home their 2nd straight World Series crown. But they've got a big challenge in front of them here with the Toronto Blue Jays as we take a look at both lineups. For the most part, regular starters across the board. Dansby Swanson is starting for Cleveland. They felt like they kind of had to after his big moment in Game 5. John Means is on the bump for Cleveland. He started in Game 2 of the ALDS, a game Cleveland won. He allowed 3 runs in 5 innings as he will start with a walk against the speedster Adalberto Mondesi. This is not a guy you want on base because he can absolutely fly. Victor Reyes grounds it to Ramirez. The Guardians hoping to turn 2, which they do. 5-4-3 double play. Great work by the Cleveland defense to turn 2. That'll bring up Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the former American League MVP, and he rips this one into left field. Gets by the glove of Zane Rowley for a double. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is by far the best offensive player on this team. They've got a number of guys who can hit, but nobody can do it like Vladdy Jr. Bo Bichette has had a great season. He's balling in the playoffs, and he's going to single into center. A bloop hit, but they will be able to drive in Guerrero. And so the Toronto Blue Jays strike first. They take a 1-0 lead here in the top half of the inning. Jose Barrios is on the bump here for Toronto. He pitched in 8 innings, allowing 1 run, getting a win against the Houston Astros. We'll see if he can pitch similarly here against the Cleveland lineup. Ketel Marte leads it off. He draws a walk. Marte historically has owned the Toronto Blue Jays, so I do not blame them for not wanting to pitch to him. That'll bring up the 19-year-old rookie Alvaro Pena, who drew a big walk in the 9th inning of Game 5 to set up the home runs to win the game for Cleveland. As he's going to hit a single into the gap, Marte advances to third. So now there's runners on the corners and nobody out. A great opportunity for Cleveland to not just respond right back, but maybe take the lead. Jose Ramirez lays off a tough pitch. Count was full, and he will draw a walk. So the bases are now loaded. Rough start here for Barrios. That'll bring up Kyle Lewis. The count is full, and Lewis grounds this one over to short. Toronto hoping to turn 2, and they will. But runner does score. That's Marte. And so this game is tied at 1. Not a great at-bat for Kyle Lewis, but at least Cleveland scored. That'll bring up Josh Bell, who grounds this one into left field. That'll go for a base hit, and Cleveland is now up top 2-1. Great swing there by Josh Bell to drive in a run and put the Guardians ahead. That'll bring up Jesus Sanchez, only hitting 136 so far in the playoffs, and he gets plunked. Sanchez got hit on what looked like the elbow or something. So now there's 2 runners aboard here for Dansby Swanson, one of the heroes of Game 5. And Swanson immediately comes back with another homer. A 3-run shot for Dansby Swanson, and it is now 5-1. Dansby Swanson, from last year's playoff run and now this year's, he has been so clutch. He's not one of the main starters for this team. He's one of the first or second guys off the bench. But you put him in a situation where he needs to make a play, he's going to make a play. 5-1 your score, but Toronto will look to cut into the lead, and they will with a home run here by Cavan Biggio to open up the second. Little lefty-on-lefty crime, and it's Biggio who comes out on top this time, so it's now 5-2. So far, a lot of offense early in this game. Gabriel Moreno is up for the Blue Jays with 1 away. He hits it high and pretty deep into right center. Sanchez chasing after it. He cannot make the play, and it'll bounce over the fence for a ground rule double. So Moreno is now in scoring position. Now he's on third, 2 away from Mondesi, who will hit a single barely fair into right field. Pena misplays it, and with Mondesi's speed, he will waltz into second for a double. So it's now 5-3. If you like offense, this is your game, just like Game 5 against the Tigers. Victor Reyes draws a walk, so the base runners are just going to keep on coming here for Toronto. Huge opportunity for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Grounded to short. Dansby Swanson looking to make the play, and he will. Good play there by Swanson after his 3-run homer in the last inning. 5-3 here through the middle of the second. Will Cleveland keep the offensive tirade going? Zane Rowley leads off the inning here. Count is 1-1. Rowley, a high-level playoff performer so far in his young career, with a bloop hit, and he will be safe at first. An infield single. A good effort by the third baseman to go for the barehanded throw, but is unsuccessful. That'll bring up Ketel Marte, grounds it to second. Toronto looking to turn 2, and they will. A 4-6-3 double play for the Blue Jays. Jose Barrios needs to get some momentum, and I suppose that's a good starting point. Into the third now, Teoscar Hernandez is up for Toronto. He strikes out on the fastball. John Means also looking to get some momentum because he as well has not pitched all that well today. Cavan Biggio now up for Toronto. Hit a homer in the last inning, and he hits this one well into center, but Sanchez should be able to make the play. So both offenses are starting to slow down a little bit. They started off on fire. The Blue Jays scored 3 runs in the first 2 innings. Cleveland had 5 in the first inning alone. But now it seems like both of these pitchers are really starting to settle in. Full count here to lead off the third by Jose Ramirez. He strikes out. Good pitch there right down the middle. Ramirez took a big hack at that one for the first out of the inning. Josh Bell now up, 2 away. 1-2 pitch on its way from Barrios. This one is going to be weakly grounded over to third. The throw will be made by Adalberto Mondesi. So another good 1-2-3 inning there for Jose Barrios, who has pitched a lot better these last 2 innings than he did in the first. Into the fourth we go now. Garrett Cooper swinging and miss on the sweeping curve. That pitch had some filthy hang on it by John Means. Holy smokes. The former Guardian, Manuel Margot, is now up. He strikes out as well. Margot was used as our 4th outfielder last year on the championship squad. As we now go to the bottom 4th, both offenses are now completely ice cold, and both pitchers are going to keep it going. Barrios strikes out Jesus Sanchez. That'll bring up Dansby Swanson, who homered in his first at-bat of the day, homered in his previous at-bat going into the game, and although this is not a homer, it is another base hit, singling up the middle into center. If Dansby Swanson keeps this up, he very well could be an everyday player here down the stretch here in this postseason run for Cleveland. Zane Rowley is now up, hits this one into the gap, looking for another base hit, but it is caught out and left by Teoscar Hernandez. So it remains 5-3. Nobody has scored since the top of the 2nd inning. Can Adalberto Mondesi change that? Well, I suppose that's a good start as he singles into right field. So the Blue Jays start the inning off with a speedy base runner. Mondesi has been highly productive today for Toronto. That'll bring up Victor Reyes, who hits it high and deep into center, and it is caught! Jesus Sanchez with maybe the defensive play of the year. Oh my goodness, what a grab, saving probably a run from being scored, because if that gets by him, Mondesi would probably make it all the way home. A ridiculous acrobatic catch by Jesus Sanchez, putting his body on the line to come down with it. We got to look at this one again here in slow motion. Mamma mia, what a play by Jesus Sanchez with some Gold Glove level defense. And now look at Swanson with an unbelievable play to second, double play, inning over. So Dansby Swanson says, you know what? What you can do, I can do better, with an unbelievable defensive play of his own, diving down, forcing the double play again, preventing a base hit. My goodness, Cleveland's defense in the 5th inning came to play. Let's look at this one in slow motion again. What a play by Dansby Swanson, who has been remarkable in this ball game today. Him and Jesus Sanchez might have saved a good 3 runs from being scored that inning, and I don't think that's exaggerating. Bottom 5, Ketel Marte grounds it to short. Bo Bichette makes the play for the first out of the inning. A little more routine defense. Ketel Marte not doing as well here against Toronto as I would say he normally does. That'll bring up Alvaro Pena now. 1-2 pitch on its way, and Pena takes a big swing and a miss on the slurve. Still, no runs have been scored since the top of the 2nd inning of this game. Both offenses literally have gone extinct after their hot start. Jose Ramirez is up, and again, a filthy pitch. Once more, the slurve low and away. Another good inning for Jose Barrios as we go to the 6th. John Means' day is done. I know he's pitched 3 scoreless innings, but he kind of got rocked in that 5th inning. Happened to be lucky with some great defense. So Camilo Duvall is in, and that might have been a mistake as Bo Bichette starts this inning off quickly, hitting this one off the top of the wall out left center. Bichette rounding second, headed to third. Sanchez slowly picks it up. I think he gets a slight pass for his catch in the last inning, but still not great defense by Jesus Sanchez. That'll bring up Teoscar Hernandez, who strikes out on the fastball. We'll see if Camilo Duvall can get out of this inning without allowing any runs. Well, that's not going to happen. Kevon Biggio singles into center. Bichette scores, and we finally have runs for the first time since the top of the 2nd, and it's now 5-4 off the single by Biggio, who had the home run, ironically, back in the 2nd. He was the last one to drive in a run. Biggio now looking to aggressively advance to third. He is safe off of a single by Garrett Cooper. So now there's runners on the corners, 1 away, and an opportunity for the Blue Jays to tie the game or not tie the game. Instead, Gabriel Moreno grounds into a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play, and the Cleveland Guardians will hold on to their lead, but they do allow 1 there in the 6th, so it's now 5-4. Kyle Lewis, when you miss on the slurve. Lewis really didn't play all that well in the ALDS against Detroit, and so far today he's been pretty quiet. After that strikeout, Barrios is taken out of the game, odd timing, and he's replaced by Eric Pardinho, who has not pitched yet so far in the postseason. He's 5'10", 155 pounds. He is tiny. He's also pretty good. That was a nasty curveball, striking out Josh Bell as Cleveland's offense really continues to struggle, obviously minus the first inning. Count is full now for Jesus Sanchez with 2 away. He gets a pitch up in the middle of the zone, but the first baseman, Garrett Cooper, makes a really nice diving play, and that'll end the inning. So another scoreless frame for Cleveland. We go to the 7th. Brusdar Graterol is now in for the Guardians. He's allowed 2 runs in 5 postseason innings so far, facing off against the former Guardian Manuel Margot, who grounds us up the middle, and Marte now makes a ridiculous defensive play. Margot's out of there. Cleveland's defense today has been unreal. We got to look at this one again. What a play by Ketel Marte, and that might not even be the first or second best defensive play of the day by the Guardians. 2 away now for Reyes. He's going to pop it up over to Marte. So a good 1-2-3 inning there for Brusdar Graterol, and it remains 5-4. Although Cleveland's offense has done nothing since the first inning, they've been able to still hold on to this lead for a while, and we'll see if they can hang on these last couple of innings. Paradinho still in the game as he strikes out Zane Rowley, swinging at a pitch that he really should not have swung at. So it'll remain 5-4 now going into the 8th. James Karinchak now in for the Guardians. 3 scoreless innings for him so far in the postseason. He has not allowed a run up to this point. Can the Blue Jays change that? Guerrero swings and misses on the knuckle curve. Very good pitch to start the inning by James Karinchak. That'll bring up Teoscar Hernandez with 2 away, also going down on the knuckle curve. Very good inning here for James Karinchak as it remains 5-4 going into the bottom of the 8th. The Guardians still have not scored since the first inning, and it still does not look like it's going to get any better. Ketel Marte starts the inning off with a strikeout, that pitch in the dirt. That'll bring up Jose Ramirez now, the walk-off hero from Game 5. 3-2, and Ramirez hits this one high and deep. In left center, it is gone, and the Guardians are on the board for the first time since the first inning. Ramirez with his 5th home run of the playoffs. Keep in mind, the Guardians have only played 6 playoff games. Jose Ramirez won the American League MVP this year, and his MVP play has more than carried over into the playoffs. He has been phenomenal. That'll bring up Kyle Lewis now. Hits it down the line, but it is caught by Cooper. Good play. So Cleveland finally gets back on the board with a home run by Ramirez, and they lead by 2 going into the 9th with Emmanuel Clase in to get the save. He is 1 for 1 in save opportunities so far in the playoffs. He's pitched in 2 games, hasn't allowed a run yet as he strikes out Kevin Biggio on the fastball for the first out of the inning. Garrett Cooper now hits this one well into left. That'll go for a hit as it bounces off the foul wall. So the tying run is now at the plate, and that's Gabriel Moreno. He strikes out on the slider. Toronto down to their last out of the game. It's going to be Manny Margot, the former Guardian, who strikes out on the cutter. And Cleveland takes home Game 1, winning this one by the final score of 6-4. It wasn't always perfect. We only scored 1 run after the first inning. But our big offensive surge at the start of this game, along with pretty solid pitching, was ultimately able to lead us to the victory. And we are now 3 wins away from advancing back to the World Series. Toronto's offense started off well. 3 runs in the first 2 innings, but John Means really settled down. The bullpen played well, and obviously you can say the same about us. We scored 5 runs in the first inning, started off on fire, and then we completely forgot how to hit, with the only runs coming after the first inning being the home run by Jose Ramirez to pretty much iced the game. I think the pitching was pretty good today. John Means was solid. The bullpen, for the most part, pretty good. Camilo Duvall was a little bit shaky, but everybody else was fantastic. So that'll bring us to Game 2 here. The National League Series is currently split at 1. The Marlins upset the Dodgers in Game 1, but the Dodgers were able to win Game 2. So we'll see if this series will also be split, just like the National League, or if the Guardians can really take the momentum and take a 2-0 lead. Winning this game for Cleveland would be big. It would bring us back to Toronto for Games 3, 4, and 5 with a huge 2-0 lead. As for Toronto, it's not necessarily a must-win game, but if they don't win this one, it'll be an uphill battle the rest of the way. Let's get a look at both lineups here for each team. The Blue Jays had their right-handed pitching lineup, so they have some different faces in at different spots. Hunter Green is on the bump for Cleveland. His first career postseason start wasn't great. I don't think it's as bad as the numbers suggest, but it certainly was not his best outing, and of course he has been absolutely fantastic this year trying to keep that going here against a hungry Toronto team. Looking for a win here as Victor Reyes starts off with a strikeout there on the curveball. Good start for Green. That'll bring up Deegan Beckendum. He's going to hit this one nicely into the gap. That one could go for extra bases. Beckendum did not play in Game 1. He usually only hits against right-handed pitching. And that'll end up as a double. So the Blue Jays have a runner in scoring position here with one away and a great opportunity to strike first, just like they did in Game 1. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hits this one into right. That should be able to score a run with no problem as it goes in the corner. Pena chases after it. Guerrero is barely safe at second. That was a close call. Good throw by Pena. But nonetheless, the run scores, and Toronto leads 1-0. Kevin Gausman will be starting for the Blue Jays in his first postseason outing. He went 6 1/3, only allowing 1 run. Did not get the decision, but he still pitched really well. 2 away here for Jose Ramirez. Grounds this one up the middle, beats the shift perfectly. If not for the shift, that's probably a ground out, but instead it's a base hit. So Jose Ramirez is aboard here with 2 away. Big opportunity for Josh Bell to capitalize, but he goes down looking on the outside fastball. That pitch was right on the edge of the zone. Great pitch by Gausman. As we roll into the second, David Green leads it off for Toronto, lines it to first, and Bell makes an awesome play. Great reflexes there by Josh Bell as Cleveland's defense in this postseason series so far continues to be really good. Alejandro Kirk, the big fella, goes down looking on the slider. Good pitch by Hunter Green. He gets through the inning pretty easily, and so it remains 1-0. Jesus Sanchez up here in the bottom of the second. His postseason struggles continuing, hitting 125, and that's going to go even lower now as he swings and misses on the splitter. Kevin Gausman is dealing so far as he now faces off against Dansby Swanson, who draws a walk. So now there's a runner on first, 2 away. Nice opportunity for Ramon Ramiro, who started the playoffs well, but is now really struggling, hitting a mere 158 after going on a tear towards the end of the regular season. And he goes down looking. Again, that pitch right on the edge of the zone. Kevin Gausman looking great through 2 innings. The former Guardian, Manuel Margot, goes down looking on the slider. Despite an early hiccup in the first inning from Hunter Green, I feel like he's really settling in, really starting to pitch well, as Beckendum, who scored the lone run, hits it into right. Pena makes a nice play in foul territory. 2 consecutive scoreless innings for Hunter Green, and we could be looking at a pitcher's duel as it's still 1-0. Luis Campusano up here in the bottom half of the inning, lines this one into right. That one looks like it'll go for extra bases. Campusano heads for second as that one is kind of lodged in the corner, and he will walk into second with a no-out double, and Cleveland has a really good opportunity to tie or maybe even take the lead. Ketel Marte now up with 1 away, the 2-2, swinging a miss on the circle change. Good pitch by Gausman for the second out of the frame, his 4th K of the day. That'll bring up Jose Ramirez now. Full count pitch now on its way, 2 away, and Ramirez draws a walk. So he is now aboard first and second, 2 outs. Huge opportunity for Josh Bell to really break into this game for Cleveland. And Josh Bell is going to capitalize as he rips it into the left center gap. 1 run scores pretty easily. That's Campusano. Jose Ramirez should be able to score as well. A 2-run double for Josh Bell. And the Cleveland Guardians are now up 2-1 as the bench is fired up. Ramon Ramiro visibly excited. Going into the 4th, 2-run lead for Cleveland. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. singles this one into right center. Again, if not for the shift, I mean, that probably would have been an out. But still, Hunter Green is pitching really well right now. 2 consecutive scoreless innings. He does have to face off against the heart of the order, although he will get Bo Bichette to go down looking here. His 4th K of the ball game. That'll bring up Teoscar Hernandez now, the 3-2. And there's another strikeout, this time on the curveball. Hunter Green right now is pitching very well. He looks locked in on the mound as this one is going to be hit for a single with 2 away. That was David Green. So Toronto does have 2 runners aboard and a major opportunity to look to take this lead right back as this one is going to be hit up the middle. Swanson deflects it. Runner is safe at first, but Dansby Swanson might have just saved the run. If that goes into center, Guerrero is scoring. Nonetheless, the bases are now loaded for Kirk. Grounds it to short. Going to be another tough play for Dansby Swanson. His defense in both games today has been on another level. Dansby Swanson is earning more and more playing time, and as long as he keeps this up, I don't see how Cleveland can keep him out of the lineup. Let's go into the bottom of the 4th after Toronto left the bases loaded as Jesus Sanchez gets a base hit. We haven't been able to say that a whole lot throughout the playoffs, but it is a nicely hit single into left. That'll bring up Ramon Romero, who is ice cold at the moment, the 2-2. And his cold streak will continue as he strikes out on the high fastball up in the corner. Gossman's 5th of the game. That'll bring up Luis Campusano, hit and run in his last at-bat. Well, he hit it, but not very well. Pops up to the pitcher's mound, and it is going to be caught pretty easily by Kevin Biggio, and that'll wrap up the 4th. Still 2-1. Both pitchers, for the most part, have been pretty good today. We'll see which of these offenses can really get things going. As Reyes lines it to first, Josh Bell deflects it nicely over to Green, and he is out of there! Hunter Green is on fire, but the problem is he's at 91 pitches. I don't know how much longer the Guardians are going to be able to keep him in the game. Deegan Beckham singles into left. So with 2 away, the Blue Jays have a runner aboard. Hunter Green is nearing 100 pitches. I think Cleveland would probably be wise to look to take him out of the game at some point as Guerrero goes down on the outside fastball. 5 innings, 1 earned run from Hunter Green. He pitched great today. He will most likely not return for the 6th inning. Cleveland wants to get a fresh arm in there. Speaking of bullpen changes, Kevin Gossman is surprisingly out after just 4 innings. He'll be replaced by Nate Pearson, who faces off against Marte with 1 away. Rips it into right. 1 hops off the wall. Marte rounds first, heads to second. The throw is on time, but a little bit offline. So Marte is safe at second, and a big opportunity for Jose Ramirez to look to extend the lead. The 2-2 swings and misses at the high fastball. I think Ramirez was expecting it to curve down, and obviously that did not really happen. Josh Bell is now up. Full count, 2 away. Bell draws a walk. He drove in the 2 runs in his last at-bat, and, well, he's going to keep the inning alive again here for Kyle Lewis. He hits this one high and deep in right field. Back at the track at the wall. It is caught! What a catch out and right by Teoscar Hernandez to end the inning. In real time, it looked like he robbed it. He did not actually rob it. It would not have been a home run, but it probably would have gone off the wall. So still a really nice catch. Dylan Tate is into the game for the Guardians. He's allowed 2 runs in just under 5 postseason innings, facing off against Teoscar Hernandez, who goes fishing on the slider after his really nice defensive play in the last inning. 2 away here for David Green. Base hit in his last at-bat. Base hit again as he rips it by Dylan Tate for a single into center. So with 2 away, there's now a runner on first, and a major opportunity once again for the Toronto Blue Jays. It's Kevin Biggio. Hits it high and deep into center. Sanchez tracks after it at the track of the wall. It is gone! Just barely scraping over the fence. Nearly robbed by Sanchez. And Toronto now leads 3-2. Biggio's 2nd postseason home run. Kevin Biggio's been pretty impressive here in this series against the Cleveland Guardians as the Blue Jays are now up. They score their first runs since the 1st inning. Alejandro Kirk then goes down on the sinker, but a very good inning for Toronto as they now lead by 1. Into the bottom of the 6th, Jesus Sanchez up for Cleveland. He draws a walk to lead off the inning. Sanchez has reached base twice today, one of his better offensive outings. 2 away now for Luis Campusano. Pitch on its way, another pop-up into the shallow outfield. Should be caught by Green, and it will. Cleveland's offense has done virtually nothing other than the 3rd inning today. They're lucky their pitching has kept them in it. It's ironic because the hitting saved them against the Tigers, and now the hitting's laying an egg. Nick Sandlin checks into the game here for Cleveland. He's allowed 4 runs in 2 postseason innings. He really has not pitched very well in the playoffs. Looking to change that against Manuel Margot, who leads off the inning, hitting it high and deep into center. It is going to be caught. That one nearly made it to the warning track. If the dimensions were a little more hitter-friendly, it maybe could have gone over the fence. But Jesus Sanchez is going to be able to make the play instead for the first out of the inning. Victor Reyes now up the 1-2, goes down on the fastball. Nick Sandlin pitching a lot better right now than he has throughout some of the other playoff games. That'll bring up Deegan Beckham now. He's had a busy day, 2 for 3, goes down on the sinker. Good pitch by Sandlin, 3-2 score going into the bottom of the 7th. As that'll bring up Alvaro Pena, who's done pretty much nothing today, trying to change that. Wow, that was a big cut. He wanted a piece of that one. Luckily, that was only strike 2. That's strike 3, though. A really bad swing. I don't know what he was trying to do there. That pitch was very clearly outside for the first out of the inning. 2 away now for Jose Ramirez. He goes down on the curveball. A nasty pitch by Nate Pearson, showing off some of his filth in this inning as it remains 3-2 going into the 8th. James Karinchak is in for Cleveland. He has been phenomenal in the playoffs. 4 games, 4 innings, 0 earned runs. He has pitched at a very high level as Guerrero grounds it to third. Bell hesitates, flips it over to Karinchak for the first out of the inning. Good play there by Josh Bell to quickly read and react to the situation to go ahead and make the play. That'll bring up Teoscar Hernandez with 2 away. Hits it well into left. Marte should be under it to make the play, and it looks like he will. Toronto's offense has been pretty mediocre today. 3 runs, 8 hits. They haven't been great, but they've been better than the Guardians' offense, who has done virtually nothing since the 3rd inning. They've got to get something going here down the stretch, and that'll start with Seth Lugo. He has been not very good in his 1 postseason inning, allowing, actually not even a full inning, allowing 3 runs as he strikes out Josh Bell on the curveball. Cleveland's discipline, which has obviously been a big strength of theirs this season, is kind of gone today. They're swinging at a lot of bad pitches. And, well, right as I say that, Kyle Lewis lays off a tough one for a walk. But still, Cleveland's plate discipline today has been very mediocre. 2-2 for Sanchez. Again, I get that's a tough pitch to lay off because it looks like it's going to get out of the middle of the plate. But still, he got fooled on the curveball. Dansby Swanson now hits this one well into right. Hernandez after it at the track pretty much. Actually, not quite, but it is caught. So another nothing burger there in the 8th, and Cleveland's game is down to this final inning here in the 9th. On the mound now for the Guardians is Camilo Doval, who's been okay in the playoffs. Not bad, not good. Very reflective of his regular season, in which he hasn't been poor. But I wouldn't say he's been good, but we do know he has nasty stuff like that as he fools Kevin Biggio on the slider for the 2nd out of the inning. Alejandro Kirk now weakly pops this one up. Doval should be under it to make the play, and he does. Good inning for Camilo Doval. Good outing from the pitching if they are done, implying that Cleveland would either walk it off or end the game. They have only scored runs in 1 inning today, that being the 3rd. And it's going to be against the closer, Austin Adams, who is not allowed to run in the playoffs. He's 3 for 3 in save opportunities. Facing off against the pinch hitter, George Valera. He's done well in pinch hit opportunities throughout the playoffs, but he grounds out to short, barely. But Bo Bichette makes a really nice play for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Zane Rowley, also coming in off the bench. Hits this one well into center, and it is caught! Victor Reyes, what a grab for the 2nd out of the inning. And now it all comes down to the top of the order. Really nice play by Reyes. Alvaro Pena's up. He hits this one high and pretty deep and right. Hernandez under it. He makes the play, and the Toronto Blue Jays have tied the ALCS at 1 as they win this game 3-2. The offense, for the most part, was not good today. They really weren't all that good in Game 1. In the 17 offensive innings that we have played in this series against Toronto, we have scored in 3 of them. And I get we had 5 runs in the first inning last game. We had a multi-run inning here today. But the offense just has been pretty bad. After their big game against the Tigers, it seems like they've kind of relaxed a little bit, or they lack energy. I don't really know, but obviously it's a little bit concerning. 2 runs, 5 hits, just not going to cut it. And Toronto's offense wasn't much better. 3 runs, 8 hits. I thought our pitching was really good today. Hunter Green was phenomenal. The bullpen was pretty good, minus Dylan Tate's inning, where he allowed 2 runs. But Toronto's pitching was too good. Kevin Gossman was pretty good, and then the bullpen was phenomenal. 1 hit allowed in 5 innings of work by the Toronto bullpen, although our bullpen was great too. Sandlin, Karinchak, and Doval pitched 3 perfect innings, and that still wasn't enough. So that's going to wrap up the episode. 2 pretty fun games. We split the series. Next episode is going to be games 3 and 4. Will us or Toronto be able to take control? And same question in the National League Series with the Dodgers and the Marlins. That'll wrap up the episode. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.